You just got a notification. That probably means we're live. Hello, everyone. It's Alec, White Whale Comics. I got my good friend Matt, AKA Thanatos, here with me. We're going to be talking about comics. So, it feels like years ago now we did a show called The Cut on Matt's channel about kind of like if we should or shouldn't remove or sell or get rid of books from our collection, and why or why not we should do that. And then we kept talking about doing another episode and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And then Matt and I have been talking more and more about what we want differently out of collecting, or what we want different out of our collections. And it's kind of come to a head in the last few days, especially for one of us. And so I figured now's the time. Let's do the final cut.
The final cut.
The final cut.
I feel like there should be like Mortal Kombat background music.
We got people in the chat already. Gomez, Comic Collector. I'm skipping over you, Thanatos, because you are on the panel. Perry Comics, what's up? Chris Barrett making all the rounds tonight. I've already seen him in a couple chats. What's up, buddy? Perry Comics, I just said your name. Twice as nice is twice as better. Ooh, all right. Let's try this again. Sammy Strikes Back. Hello, Sammy. I got issues. What's up, Chris? It's nice to see you this evening. Tina, always a pleasure. Bake the Snake from South Florida. That's everyone at the moment. Thanks for joining us late night on a Tuesday.
That's right. It's a magical Tuesday. Two Hues Tuesday, Top Variant Tuesday. Get your IG posts in.
Two Hues. Whoopty Bird. John's Comics with Kids. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I posted all my Hughes books. Final cut equals Alec cutting his beard. You got it, Chris. You sucker.
What if I said that we're going to spend this entire episode auctioning off my entire collection? Bazinga.
Is it? This is not going to be an auction. I mean, no, unless people start bidding. So yeah, this was kind of like literally last minute. I messaged Matt while I was at work because I just had this idea. I was like, "Hey, I got nothing going on tonight," and the name The Final Cut just like popped into my head because of conversations we've been having, and I figured, what the hell? Let's just jump on in and dive right in and talk about why our perspectives are changing, and maybe some of the books we're thinking about getting rid of to thin our collections. What do you think?
Makes sense. I'll ask the first question.
Yeah.
Why did you transition from reading comics to collecting comics?
So, I mean, I guess technically that happened a long time ago. It happened, in the Valiant era. Wizard magazine, stuff like that, really made it like top 10 lists and stuff like that, made it desirable to want books rather than want to just pick up a book that looked cool, I guess. Because I used to just go to the newsstand or whatever, and the newsstand, when I 100 years old. But wherever the magazines section of a bookstore, and just buy a Spider-Man book or something because I wanted to read a Spider-Man book. Gray Matter Hulk says Spec the Final Frontier. Yeah, I'm off the Spec train, or trying to derail it. And so Wizard and Valiant and that era of comics really like shifted my perspective of like, oh, these are fun things to like have and collect and buy because they're desirable rather than for the fact that I want them.
Yeah.
And then obviously that got worse and worse as I got older and got money to actually buy some of these books. And now it's out of control. Now I'm just buying stuff because I'm like, Well, you'll see. I have some pulled aside that are just like, see it in a shop. I'm like, oh, I know that's a book people like.
Yeah, I recognize that from Instagram, or I recognize that from a top 10 list.
Right. Or I've heard other people talk about how cool this book is and how it's going to spike or whatever. Valiant was desirable and continues to be Gray Matter Hulk. I don't appreciate your sarcasm. You got two Valiant books right there. Two of my favorites. So how about yourself?
Well, I mean,
same question.
I've talked about growing up and really only reading Green Lantern, and then I don't think I started collecting until, I mean, it was probably like what, 3 years ago that I started venturing out. Instead of, there's not a lot of Green Lantern that are like collectible from modern times. And I think 3 years ago when I finally started seeing books like Showcase 22 and Green Lantern 1, and thinking like, oh, that'd be really cool to have. And I was on a deployment, one of my first deployments, and I remember that's when I joined the CBCS forum. So I mean, it's been since CBCS was around, which really isn't that long. And seeing people post these books that they got, and seeing the collectible side rather than just the reading side. And they always had these. I mean, it was stupid stuff. They had like weekly contests where someone would come up with a subject like fire and ice, and someone would post. Everybody would post like their favorite fire and ice covers, and then you'd see stuff like that. That's actually why I have a huge love and want. Like one of the books that I still want is National Comics 26, and that's because that cover was a book that I found because of like a patriot like a patriot subject for that. But that's when I started seeing that side. But I also met a bunch of friends when I was stationed in Offutt that were comic book readers and collectors. So I got to see a little bit of that side too. But I think, I mean, the reason I started actually collecting was seeing all these people post these things, and I'm like, these are all out of my price range. Like, I'm never going to own a Green Lantern 1. I'm never going to own a Showcase 22. And then meeting people through not YouTube, but seeing people on CBCS that would buy books, and then they would get hot, and then they would sell them, and they would like, buy their GRAIL, but it would be a low grade copy, a coverless copy, and then they would slowly upgrade it. And I thought, if they can do that, so can I. But then, like, it does become this snowball effect where, at first books that you're thinking like, oh, this would be a good book to buy to resell later when the price goes up, or spec books, slowly turns into you acquiring just all of this stuff. And then you're like, hell, I don't read this person, but I have a whole short box of them. Like,
yeah,
why does this happen? But so that's why the transition was definitely when I was in my mid-20s.
So I want to make one thing clear for myself anyway, because TJ is for one is getting upset in the chat about the fact that he thinks we're going to dump our collections. I'm not stopping collecting. I'm not getting rid of my collection. And spec on Susan Ferrer, yes, hashtag Susan Spec. I just want to focus what I want, because like I flip through my bins, and half the time I'm like, well, that's a cool book, but like why?
Yeah, I think it's always good to kind of check yourself and definitely come back. We're not made of money. I mean, some people are. Some people can go out and buy whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
But like, it's not feasible to just go out and just blow all this money on comics that don't mean anything to you. There's no point in that, other than potential spec books that you're going to try to resell later. But then it might never happen. You might just end up with books that I don't know, they don't mean nothing to you.
Yeah, and here so I have two problems with buying spec books lately. And Gray Matter Hulk brings up a great question that I'm also going to address. Two problems with spec books. Number one, I buy them and then I either want to keep them because they become hot, and then I'm like, oh, this is kind of a cool book now. Or I'm just too lazy and I don't put them on eBay or Instagram or do a YouTube auction or whatever. And so they just sit around. I have boxes of stuff that I want to sell now. So it's not like I'm not benefiting from my specking. Like if I were buying books and flipping them, buying them for $5 and flipping them for $25 every week, and building up a little fund for a grail I want, that's great. But if I'm just acquiring these spec books because I see them in a shop for no other reason than to have them or to sit on them, I don't know.
I think that the whole spec game is a double-edged sword. Because one, how do you discover spec? You're wasting time, not wasting time, but you're spending time maybe watching videos on YouTube of people talking about their spec books. That's time that you're not going to get back. You're literally watching people talk about books that could potentially make you money if you have the time and the want. And then you're also wasting your time potentially if you follow through with that spec. Like if the first thing that happens when you get an alert on the Key Collector app is, holy crap, I need to run to my LCS to see if they have this. Like, you're driving to your LCS, you're picking up books, you're spending money, and for what? For the potential chance that this book is going to become fire. I mean, it does happen. I mean, I for one am very happy that I picked up on the Batman Damn spec, and I got two 10.0 sitting right here. Like a $7.99 book that I paid for is now worth $300, $400. It happens.
Sure. And, you can look at Immortal Hulk as an example and say, like, if you bought those all at cover price, you're doing real well for yourself. But how often does something like that hit? Like, typically exactly. A spec book is maybe $15, $20. And sure, that's a good, like, ROI, because you're getting 200, 300% back on your money. But, like, you're really not missing out on that much in the long run. I mean, if you buy 50 of them and you hit on all of them, sure, it adds up. But to Gray Matter Hulk's question about spec versus flipping, those are clearly two very different things. And I will get to that. I do want to bring up one thing while I'm thinking about it. Did you hear about this Action Comics 1002 fiasco?
It's the exact same as...
It's the perfect...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a perfect example of why specking is so dangerous, because someone saw this variant cover of Action Comics 1002 with Superman carrying a little girl who kind of looked like Naomi, and everyone's like, oh, true first, go pick it up. And it spiked for a hot minute, and people were paying stupid money for it. And then Bendis tweets out, like, chill, guys, it's not her. I don't even have room on Twitter to, like, explain why this is ridiculous.
Someone got a hot dollar off of that, and I mean, people got screwed. That's stupid.
Yeah, people got screwed, but also, like, people are screwing themselves because they're they're like desperate for this spec of, like, Naomi 1 is, like, I don't know what, a $40, $50 book now, and or True First is going to be the next Captain Marvel 17 second printing, It's like, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, those come around once a decade. And if you're trying to get rich off of buying 10 copies or 100 copies of some book that you think is going to be worth $1,000, this wasn't supposed to turn into such a rant, but I'm gonna keep staying on my soapbox.
This was the point.
So, getting back to spec versus flipping, spec is saying, like, this book might be worth something. Flipping is saying, I'm finding a book at a good deal. I can either grade this or maybe even not grade this and sell it at more than what I'm buying it for. That, I think, is a more sustainable way to get the grails you want. No spec, no masters, Comics was explained. I just bought a book that I told you about, Matt, but I'll wait to show it off when I get it in on my channel. But I hopefully got a very good deal on it. And if it is in the condition I was told it was in, I'm going to get it graded and probably, but see, here's the thing, like, I'm going to want to keep it.
And yeah, that's where we go off the rails. Like, my entire intent on collecting was to get a specific book by using other books to pay for it. And then I buy these books, you know, The Incredible Hulk 181, not necessary for my collection. Giant Size X-Men, not necessary for my collection. Like, all these things that were intended for me to buy at good deals, get them graded, and then sell them to put towards, you know, the Holy Grail. And then I end up keeping them. So now I'm out the money. I mean, like,
you're never really out the money because you can resell them at any point. But like, the longer you keep them, the longer, like, the more they're tied to your heart.
Absolutely.
And if you bought those books even last year, like I did, I bought my GSX last October. It's my copy's doubled in price already, which is absolutely insane. So, like, yeah, I could sell that and buy a different Grail, but then I'll never get that book again, probably.
Yeah, and that's why, like, with full disclosure in this whole conversation is to discuss my plan to literally offload a majority of my collection. Like, everything that obviously I've gotten as an AOK and stuff, that's all staying. But the books that I bought with the intention of selling to cover the cost of bigger books that I didn't, those are going to go. And then the books that I still think have, that I really do like the characters, or I love the cover art, that I could use, or that you know, I could still hold on to and keep them for long-term investment, like the Hulk 181 and the GSX one. Those will still stay. But I have a whole box of slabs that I'm just like, why have I held on to these?
Yeah. And I guess that kind of transitions into us showing some books maybe, but to me, like, there are 4 reasons why I currently buy books, and I want to figure out how to, if I should eliminate any of those. Number 1 is sentimentality. Either a book from my childhood that I have in my collection currently that I keep because of that, or a book from my childhood that I wanted, like Giant Size X-Men. And sometimes books fall into multiple categories. They're not necessarily one or the other. So sentimentality, value. So obviously Giant Size falls into that too. Covers. So, like, great looking covers. Giant Size falls into that. And first appearances / key books, so Giant Size is all 4 of those. So doesn't matter. I'm keeping that book. But, like, do I eliminate something like books that are just valuable, or do I keep them because they might continue to go up and then I can sell them for more later? Like, I've sold books in the past, and you can never predict the future, but like Alias #1, I used to have that when it was a $1 book. I sold that. Umbrella, that whole run of Umbrella Academy, I sold that when no one cared about it. And, you know, like, I'm kicking myself now because I could have sold those for a decent amount of money and put it towards something better. But how long do you hold on to something hoping that it's going to catch fire?
Yeah. And if it does catch fire, would that just make you hold on to it more? Or would you actually,
right,
okay, now's the time?
And right. So the question is, like, when I see a book in my short box, do I say that book's valuable, so that's why I want to keep it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to like change your way of thinking and to flip through your short box and say this, like, I've never considered getting rid of this book because of reasons X, Y, or Z, but I've never really thought about why I'm keeping it either.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, these are the struggle questions that I think every collector kind of has to look at themselves and their collecting habits and make a decision. Like if they have the space, if they have the disposable income or the means to just wait out comics, or if they just like to own an excessive amount of comics. I mean that's their thing. But for me, obviously I live in an apartment. Like I don't have all the space in the world. I have really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 7 short boxes and a long box. That's my entire collection, plus 2 short boxes of CGC books. And it's almost too much.
Yeah. I Got Issue says FOMO is the measles and the comic community is unvaccinated. It's true. Like the fear of missing out is a big part of it. Like saying, oh, I could have bought that book. Like that Catwoman, whatever, 51, is that it? With the
Adam Hughes one?
Yeah, with the lost numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember holding that in my hand and thinking, well, I'm just buying this for a cover buy. I shouldn't buy it. But like that, those are the memories that I hold where I'm like, I don't want to miss out on something like that again. Because now I don't want to pay for that book. Oh, Jesus Christ. John's Comics with Kids says FOMO is VD and the comic community is a sailor visiting a brothel in King's Landing.
Good old Game of Thrones references.
Yeah. The hunt is another big part too. Can I find the spec book in the wild? Gray Matter Hawk says. And yeah, it's very satisfying to find a spec book in a short box. I did that with the Thanos fourth printing Black Silver Surfer cover that I auctioned off the other night. I found that in a short box and really pissed off the shop owners because they hadn't found it in their short box yet, and I did. But I already had one. Like, why did I need to buy another one?
Well, I think that's a different thing, though. I mean, to me, if there's a hot book,
I guess that's flipping more than specking at that point.
Yeah. So that's for me. It's I don't want to go to a store on a New Comic Book Wednesday, look at the CBSI at like their Instagram post that they do every Wednesday where they have all their first appearances and all that stuff, and they're like, you should buy all these. Like, I'm not gonna buy all those strictly for the purpose of hoping that one of these things hits it out of the park. But if I happen to know that Eternals is going to have a movie, and I'm flipping through a short box at a store and I find an Eternals #1 for $30, I'm going to pick it up. Like, because I think that's more feasible. That already has value. And you're able to turn that around and grade it and sell it for a lot more.
So here's the other thing that drives me nuts is how driving movie and TV news drives spec. Like, there are only a few things recently, Immortal Hulk, Venom, I guess Naomi, like, that I can think of that are really spiking because people are excited about them as comics. And Naomi, I would even be hesitant to put in that grouping because people, I'm assuming, are thinking it's going to be turned into a property. But Immortal Hulk, people are just, it's going up in value because it's a great book and people like it. So, like, I'm more okay with that for some reason rather than, oh, this is rumored to be some villain in the Flash TV show in season whatever, and like casting has begun for this or blah, blah, blah. And like all of a sudden, the first appearance of some character no one cared about for 20 years, like the Hydro Man spec, like that book shot up in value because you saw someone who looked like they were made out of water in a trailer. And like, if you don't care about it as a comic before it's a movie, why do you care about it as a comic when it's a movie?
Yeah, and then even if the movie comes out, if there is a movie that comes out. I didn't sell my Captain Marvel #1 in 9.2 when it was hitting like $350, and that movie bombed. And now I'm sitting on a 9.2, and it's selling for less than 200 now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's stupid. Like, just because it's going to be made into a movie means nothing. Look at Green Lantern. Like, Green Lantern did nothing to help the movies.
No, in fact, it probably did you a favor.
Absolutely, it definitely did, and that's why, in my mind, for spec-wise, like, Green Lantern books are some of the most undervalued Silver Age that you can pick up, and Bronze.
So speaking of which, here's my copy of Miss Marvel #1 that I bought last year at some point, not for an exorbitant amount, but for probably more than I should have, because I knew there was a movie coming out, and it's an awesome cover, but what? Why do I have it?
Yeah.
So, should I keep it?
I mean, what's going to happen? Like, is their acting going to get better in Avengers Endgame? I think this book is the best it's going to be, or it was the best it was going to be like a year ago when they were just talking about it. Now it's just on the downslide. So
right, but
I plan on keeping mine. Mine's in my to-go pile. It's right here.
So yours is already in the cut pile.
Even if I'm not taking a loss on it, because I bought my copy raw a while ago, and even if I sold it at the lower prices now, I'm gonna double what I made. But it's still that, like, I feel like I'm losing out on money because
well, it's like a stock. Like if stock hits a really high price and it starts going down, you're like, oh man, I should have sold it then. But who knows where the ceiling is?
But so as far as like this whole spec thing goes, I mean, like, literally between those two 10.0 Batman dams, so I spent 15, 16 total dollars on those. There's $7.99.
Bottom cover price, yeah.
Yeah, and now I could sell both of them for up to potentially $700. I guarantee you, since the time I got those Batman damned till I got them graded, I've spent more than $700 on other stupid spec books that did not hit.
Yep.
So in my mind, you're never gonna win. Like, that's a game you're not gonna win unless you are the person putting out the list every week of what's going up, and you're able to literally ride that wave. Like, have your books ready. That book's going up. So, like, you're never gonna win. For the common collector, the casual collector, we're always gonna be behind the curve.
TJ is about to lose it. He said I was going to start drinking heavily now. I'm not trying to upset you, TJ. Sorry. And I'm not even necessarily certain what I want to do right now. It's just like I'm posing questions. I want to, I don't know. I have piles and piles and piles of comics, and I know a lot of us do. And there's a certain satisfaction in that, right? It is a security blanket. It is really fun to flip through your boxes and to see all these different books and everything. But at the same time, like, sometimes I feel like a weight.
Yeah.
And that's rare for me, but like every once in a while I'll be in this room and I'll see all these boxes and I'm like, geez, like that's a lot of stuff. And like before I really like get rid of a lot of comics, I'm getting rid of other things that I don't want or need, but just to like thin out my possessions because they're just like, I got a basement full of bins that I've moved from house to house to house over 4 moves that I keep thinking, well, maybe someday I'll have a use for that, or maybe someday I'll have a spot for that. And like, they haven't yet. So when will they? Like, what's the point? TJ says only when they fall on me. So TJ Slavalanche.
For me, I already know. Like, you're obviously posing questions. I know what I'm gonna do.
But for you, like you said, this was your plan all along. Like you wanted your Grail,
Correct.
and at some point along the way, you kind of strayed from that path.
You get caught up in the excitement. You know, like the hunt is very addictive, and it's not like the hunt's ever going to end. Like if I still find books that I can flip, like maybe I'll consider it. Or if it's a book that I know I could give to somebody that wants it, and I find it a good price, like maybe I'll do it. But I really want to get back to where reading was enjoyable. Like I feel like I've lost that part. You know, like it became collecting versus reading, and collecting just completely pushed out the time I had for reading. I was more focused on watching videos and focusing on what's coming out that I could pick up, you know, making pre-orders for stuff with that might be hot later on, without ever having an intention to read it.
Yeah, there's a little show called Story Comic Core that might be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Self plug. Yeah, man. Like I love, and I've realized this more and more recently. I love nothing more than going to a shop and buying a book.
Yeah.
And then I get it home, and sometimes I'm like, why did I buy this? But like that act, you get that thrill of that rush of like, ooh, I found this. This is great. But it wasn't really on my list. But I saw it and I bought it. And now it's in my collection. But something like I don't know. I can't think of an example right now. But I bought like a couple books recently that I never really considered, but then I saw them at a cheap price and I bought them. And I'm like, I was really excited about it. But now I kind of don't want to get rid of them. But why?
It's hard. It's a hard habit, I think, to break once you're in that game. But so I think for me, and even when I had my holy grail, you know, obviously Showcase 22 was my holy grail. Like I wanted a specific one of that book, and I'm not there yet. And that was like the drive to really, you know, flip all these books and try to come up with it. And, you know, obviously when I pick up that specific copy of Showcase 22 that I want, like all the other books that I had, or like that, my Showcase 22 now is going to go like the same way that I flipped my 3.0 for my 4.0. But I really want my collection to literally be my Green Lantern books. You know, that's what defines me as a collector. And then I still love Adam Hughes. So like my Adam Hughes books aren't going anywhere. I still love, I mean, like I said, the some of those like bigger key issues I'm going to hold on to, but, and then everything else I want is just going to be like the stories that I've enjoyed reading. I'm going to keep my Magic Order books. I like my East of West collection. Like I'm going to still focus on these stories, I think, rather than going out and buying a random cover. Like I bought that stupid Superboy cover because it looked like a meme. Like, and I went on eBay and I paid more than cover price for it. Like I paid $10 or something for that book. And I'm like,
yeah,
I bought it. And I'm like,
well, it looks like
that was
$6 cover price, something dumb. The chat is on fire right now. Gray Matter Hulk knows my collection better than me. He says first Beta Ray Bill ? That is a perfect example. I just bought that recently. Cool book, like awesome classic cover. Wasn't really on my radar as like one I wanted, and now I don't want to get rid of it. John's Comics with Kid said, I don't know, quote, I don't know why I bought this, unquote, Alec looking at his copies of Little Bird. Never, John. I will never say that about Little Bird. I Got Issue says, even the companies know you're not supposed to read. That's why all the interiors suck, but they pay Art Germ to do a cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I Got Issue says, well, that's your first problem. You like Green Lantern. It's harsh. Yeah. So anyway, do you have some books you want to show off, or you want me to just like run through some stuff?
Yeah, I went through my one of my short boxes, of slabs, and I pulled out all the comics that I have every intention of selling to put towards, you know, my big grail.
And here's where this starts to get dangerous, because you already told me some of the books you wanted to sell, and I was like, oh, I'd buy that. So like,
so what you're saying is I shouldn't just start with this?
Oh, God damn it.
I love Bernie Wrightson. I love him. And I love this cover. Still one of the best covers in the Bronze Age, right?
I got claims it.
I feel like I've lost my interest in Swamp Thing, which sounds stupid. But like, this was a book that I bought because I love the cover, but I knew it was going to go up towards the TV show, and I had the intent to sell it. I was going to be happy. I have a Swamp Thing #1, also a beautiful Bernie Wrightson cover, and that could be like, that's the Swamp Thing book that I could keep, and it's still not as expensive. Whereas this could take, you know, that could cover a pretty big chunk of a big Grail book that you want.
So to be fair, in regards to this book, this is a book that has been on my radar and like is something that I've always wanted. So this isn't like, I'm sure you're going to show some other stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, cool. That is a book that I would probably buy off you. But this is a book that, like, yes, I have wanted that. So I don't begrudge myself for being excited about this, but I cannot afford to buy it off you. So that's a different story. But yeah, hell of a book. You should not get rid of that, man.
See, but these are the hard decisions I got to make. This could be a huge think about like
Alex the comic hoarder, who knows a thing or two, says this is the wrong time to sell. Wait until they develop the show more.
Which, I mean, could potentially be a thing. I'm just saying that these are books that are on my list of things I'm going to final cut out of my collection. I don't need it. I like Showcase 22, Green Lantern 7. I want those in the highest possible grades I can feasibly afford. And if that means that I'm going to keep the Incredible Hulk, you guys are welcome, you know?
A Marvel book, what?
And I know that other people, like someone like you, Alec, would appreciate this. I think appreciate it more than I would. You know, an artist who I mean, it's beautiful art.
Yeah, he's not even called Alec in that book yet, though.
Alec Holland.
Yeah, that's not until Swamp Thing #1.
He's no Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little less handsome and, you know, not a fighter pilot, but.
I saw Alex's comment, and you know, I appreciate the insight. You know, I'm still going to trust other people's insights, and this book, obviously coming up to the Swamp Thing TV show, I think is going to keep going up. So I'll wait and try to sell it at its prime, maybe, or you know, if someone like Alec wants it, I could always put it on hold for you.
How many years do you have?
You could just sell a whole bunch of Turok #1s.
I don't have that many Turok 1s, man.
You need at least 5,000 of them.
At least, and 5,000 buyers to buy a Turok #1. It's funny, Jacques, you said you guys need Marie Kondo in your collection. I was going to bring that up for a book that's coming up. So you beat me to it. But so here's 2 books. Speaking of movie spec, I got this guy.
Which has gone up dramatically.
Yeah, and I did not pay a lot of money for this, so I could flip it for a profit if I wanted to. And I got this guy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
That's a good grade on it too.
It is a good grade on it, and I think I could probably get it a little fixed up and maybe get it a little higher if I really wanted to invest some more money into it. But these aren't characters that I ever really had a history with. And I bought these because of um, of movie spec, and the fact that I thought like maybe I could flip them or make profit or that they'd go up or whatever, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but again, like TJ, no. TJ says, if any of the books I give anyone is fine as a burden, please don't keep them because they came from me. Sell them to improve your lives, put them towards something you really want. You have my blessings. Every single AOK book I've ever gotten is a treasure in my collection. And if I got rid of everything else, those would be the last books that I would get rid of. Absolutely. From you, TJ, and everyone else who's ever sent me something out of the kindness of their hearts. That goes into the sentimentality category, which is the category I will never eliminate, because they're the books that mean something, right? Even if it's a book that is sent to you that isn't something you necessarily had on your radar before, all of a sudden it becomes important to you.
Yeah. I immediately now have an amazing Michael Turner collection.
Yeah. So do we all. And it's great. And like, honestly, bless you. I've purchased a few more Michael Turner variants to like add to that collection because it is like something I treasure now and something that I like. Not like I didn't like Michael Turner, but buying one or two Michael Turner covers didn't do anything for me. But now that I have this crazy awesome collection from TJ, all of a sudden adding to it is enjoyable.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that, TJ.
I actually talked to TJ about this, and because
whoop-de bird.
What do you say?
Said to-do list, send Alec lots of Rob Liefeld covers.
TJ and I talked about this, and obviously like talking about picking up like my ultimate grail, which is not a cheap book. And then we talked about like selling some of his comics and how it would almost feel like he helped me buy those like that book. But I would never, like, he's already specified some books that I could sell, like for either going out with Melody or something. But like even books like X-Men 12, that's a book that I'm not going to get rid of. Or I've already who did I talk to about Hawkman 4? I think it was Mac. I don't know. I forgot what his YouTube name is, but I would sell him if he wanted my 5.0, and TJ's would become my official one in my permanent collection. So
yeah, and TJ is definitely, he upgraded me on a number of X-Men books that I owned, and like I don't have a problem selling the doubles of those, but I haven't yet because I see them and I'm like, ooh, X-Men 109, I got 2 of those. That's awesome. First appearance of Weapon Alpha. So something like this, it is like, it's an awesome book, and it's a really cool, like, I guess not really first appearance, but like kind of first appearance of Black Adam, right?
Yeah. First one in a long time. Technically, it's like his second appearance.
Second appearance, yeah. But so I don't know. It's just like it's a weird struggle to have internally to say like, do I want to keep this, and like, will it become something that I treasure in the future, or I don't know.
What sucks about books like that too, I hate when I have to wait to sell a book. Like you buy it, it's a good deal, and then you're like, okay, now I just have to wait for that one. Like I have to wait until they push out a picture of The Rock in his official Black Adam outfit, and then suddenly that book is going to go through the roof. But until then, it's sitting in a box waiting for you to take action on it.
And that happened with my Ghost Rider 1. I bought that on a website called Dig Auctions, and they do auctions every week. They run Saturday to Saturday, and they did their first like premiere auction where it was all slab books, and I threw up a bid on this 9.4 Ghost Rider 1. And I was like, well, it's going to get outbid by hundreds of dollars. And it didn't. And I was like, okay, well, no problem. I can't really afford this right now, but I'll get it and just sell it and make a couple $100 profit, and then eventually get a lower grade copy. And then I got it, and like hell, you're prying that from my hands now. That is a beautiful book.
And you're keeping it forever.
And I'm keeping it forever, and I will find a way to pay for it. So there's that too, where that happens, where it's like you do think you're going to do that quick flip, and you just don't.
Yeah.
Going back to TJ's books, like, it's funny. I went through the other day. Basically, I flipped quickly through like all of my short boxes just to say, like, if anything jumped out at me, to say, oh, you can get rid of me. And I got to my Uncanny X-Men box, and I was just like, this is the best. Like, I could not be happier to own this. Like, I mean, it's not a complete run yet, but it's darn near close. And there's only a couple of books that I like really need to spend money on to fill out the gaps, because everything else is just kind of like, you know, $10 books here and there. Like, I need a 101, and I need I don't even know, 121. But like,
don't say those out loud.
No, he already knows. He's the one who gave them to me. He knows what I need left. But I don't know. It's just like that run of books is, I don't know, that's not going anywhere, whether TJ gave it to me or not. And the fact that he did give them to me is like even better.
Yeah.
DS says, I think X-Men 100 is an undervalued X-Men issue. Yeah. It's got an awesome cover too. You got something else you want to show off? Upset everyone in the chat?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 slabs here that are going to be on my final cut. And we just talked about this one. She gone. Yeah, Miss Marvel, I don't care about you. I'm sorry, I bought you strictly as a flip book, and I mistimed. You were just a lesson I learned. Really nice copy, though.
Yeah, 9.2. White pages?
Yep, I got it from Comic Connect.
Gomez is bidding on it.
It was supposed to be a... They were calling it a 9.0, and I think I got it for about $100.
Oh, nice. That was a good deal.
And it came back at 9.2, so I wasn't mad about it, but I am mad. I actually had an offer on it for $300, and I was like, no, I think I'm gonna wait. And oh, what a dumb. So that one. I still have this Green Lantern 9.6 that I've been holding on to.
But you're a Green Lantern collector.
I am, but I also have the 9.8 signed copy, which is right here.
But so you don't need a blue label and a yellow label?
No, and I wanted a 9.8 in this, so there's no point in keeping the 9.6, especially if it's gonna help me pay for a Holy Grail. You know, I mean, the 9.6 isn't that valuable, but if I can get, you know, $75 out of it versus a 9.8 getting like 100 plus, like, that's still $70 I could put towards a Holy Grail. What else?
True facts.
TOD 10.
Sweet book, man.
It is a sweet book, and I love Blade, but it's just another book that, like, yeah, the movies are great. Ask me if I've ever read a Blade story in a comic book.
Yeah.
And
well, maybe you should before you sell it.
It's already slabbed.
Well, I mean, you can read.
Yeah, I'll read it digitally, but I don't need
or buy a trade.
This is another book that I could literally sell towards my Grail. Like I don't know. I think I've used to question myself on all of my decisions as far as my comics went. You know, like, well, yeah, I kind of need this book. You know,
DS Comics and JD are saying to wait on that Tomb of Dracula.
See, more waiting, more time. These books are just going to sit here, and then the waiting never ends. Like, what am I waiting for?
For it to double in value?
But for news,
like,
there's already been 3 Blade movies.
What are you going to regret more? Like selling it now and losing out on money in the future, or holding it for 3 more months and not getting the book you want for 3 months?
But I'm not losing out on money.
But you just said you felt like you did when you didn't sell your Miss Marvel, when it was high.
But I'm still, like, these are all books that I bought for flipping. Like, I bought these all at really good deals. And even if I sold this at what it's going for now, I'm still making a couple $100. So it's not like I'm losing. Like, I'm losing money, maybe. But I mean, the cost of me holding it now is just like, I don't know.
So for a minute, I forgot about Moon Knight the other day and was thinking like, oh, you know, it'd be really cool to collect a run of Werewolf by Night. And then I was like, oh, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But again, everyone's freaking out saying like, wait 6 months. These are books that are on my final cut list. Like, these are books that I'm not going to have in my collection when I'm done. Like, I don't plan on having these. So it's not me like, I'm going to sell these. Are going up on Instagram tonight. Some of them, I don't know. I'll probably will. Like, not tonight, but but these are just books that I'm going to get rid of, because, not to say they don't mean anything to me, but yeah, like, it's nice to have and it feels good, but it's not important to me.
Yes, Werewolf by Night 32 is incredibly overpriced.
Let's see how long people are going to tell me to wait to sell this. Let's wait for more Gambit news. No.
Just keep that because it's a rad book, man. But if you don't care about the X-Men.
I mean, I kind of do. But I do like Andy Kubert.
And Gambit is the second coolest X-Men character.
Oh, yeah. See, JT says, sell that. And so now you guys are like, yeah, drop that. Nobody needs that. And I get rid of this guy.
Yeah, because you have 12 of them.
Yeah. No.
We talked about this in the last episode of The Cut and how I want and don't want that comic.
Because it's so ugly.
It's not. It's just, it's a fine cartoon cover. It's just not what you want when you're like, oh, here's my Hellboy book.
Yeah.
Like, you want an X-Men 21.
Yeah, I'd rather get I've owned a couple X-Men 21s, and I've sold them all, and I've kept these, and I'm like, I should have kept an X-Men 21 because it's a cool cover. It's
an awesome cover.
It's an amazing cover. And then, like, obviously this is the first, full appearance, but you're like, nah.
Yeah. Who cares what the CGC label says on that one?
Yeah. This one's going to piss off a lot of people.
Including me. Am I going to shut the stream down? Oh, damn. Yeah. Sell me that book, man. How much you want for it?
But why? Like,
because it's hilarious, and I would put that on my shelf, and it would make me smile every day of my life.
Well, yeah, it will. But then the girls, I don't know. It's an uncomfortable cover. And I've really enjoyed. Is that on the cover or is that on this thing? Anyway, there's like a scratch on it.
I'll still take it.
It's a book that I got for super cheap, and I like looking at how much they sell for now. I'm like, holy crap! I can take a huge chunk out of a Holy Grail with this book.
Dia says, I have no desire to own that Rifleman book, but it sells well. It is the funniest thing to me. It's funnier than the Alf cover. It's funnier than like any of the other joke covers you see around. It is the #1 hilarious cover to me.
Because it's so innocent and just.
Is it though?
I always question, like, did they freaking know? Like, did they know when they took this picture, or were they like, oh yeah, it's beautiful, that's a great cover? Like,
I would say 100%.
Someone new.
Yeah. You started saying something about how like, oh, you're gonna have a girl over and she's gonna see that
and be a little weirded out, man.
Yeah, listen,
you've got that whole like cool guy thing going on where like you could be like, yeah,
it's hilarious, right?
And they'll be like, yeah, and then they're also gonna just like leave in the middle of the night.
Listen, if someone doesn't get why that's funny,
it's his facial expression
and his facial expression.
His facial expression.
It is.
It is that log of wood in the most inappropriate place.
TJ bringing down the room. That boy just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Why would you say that? Ruin this for everybody.
I still think it's funny. Like that to me is a masterpiece. That's hot stuff.
This is. The only reason it's up here is because I have another one at CGC right now.
So what if that one doesn't come back in 9.8?
Well, at least I have the cut. Yeah, you're right. Again, these are just final cut lists. But like, I would say, arguably, this is the best Vampirilla cover ever. Other than like her #1 first appearance. Like her face, she's not like, it's very brutal because she's like bleeding and like there's blood coming all over her, but she's also very like sensual and like I love her face. Oh, it's so perfect.
Yeah, just put that next to the Rifleman and then no one has any questions at all about anything.
About your sexuality?
No, I mean, that's not what I'm worried about.
You could touch little boys, but you also have a sweet, sexy vampire, so.
Can you rephrase that, please?
What?
Let's move on. Is that your full list?
That was awful. And I'm also actually questioning selling this. Like this would be my last copy of San Diego Comics #2.
You got rid of your 9.8?
I did. I sold the 9.8 at the right time too, because I got it paid for like everything.
That signature is nice looking though.
But it's not a signature that I got. I want to meet Mike Mignola. I want to shake that man's hand and tell him I love him.
I did that. And
then I also want to have him sign an X-Men 21, not a San Diego Comics #2.
Well, then sell that and buy an X-Men 21. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
That's what I want to do. And then I want to wait until I meet Mike Mignola and have him sign
it. DS Comics also says he would take that House Secrets 92 off your hands. Everyone wants that. And TJ saying that book is the reason we met, sad face.
That book's the reason. Oh, because you saw it. Well, wait, what? How is that the book that? How's that the reason why we met?
I think it's story time from TJ. While he's typing out why that's the book that made you meet, I'll show some of the books that I'm thinking about dumping. So mine are not as final as Matt seems to be. That Rifleman's my book. Like, if as much as I want to House Secrets 92, like I think out of all those books, the Rifleman is the one I want the most.
More than House of Secrets 92?
Yeah, man, I really like that book.
So, you know, like, I bought that book. It was crazy. I had seen the book and I thought it was hilarious. And then Silver Age Dave posted a video with him revealing the book. And then I was like, damn, I really want that book. And then I went on eBay and there had been like a brand new listing for it, like raw. And I was, raw on that book. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
TJ says the book you showed on Batcave.
That doesn't seem like the reason why we met, though. That just feels like a happy coincidence.
Anyway.
Shit, if you guys are interested in any of the books, just send me a message on Instagram. You don't need to spam here and then say that you want it. I'm sure people want them. Just let me know on Instagram, and I'm sure we can talk.
All right, I'm messaging you right now about Rifleman. So, J. Scott Campbell is a fantastic artist, and he puts out some great exclusive variants. And when he did the Uncanny X-Men variants, I just wanted the Rogue and Gambit cover, but you couldn't buy that. You had to buy a 2-pack. So I got this cover too, and then I was like, well, Shadowcat and Lockheed are pretty cool too, so I'll just keep this one. But why is my question.
Yeah.
If it's why?
Get rid of it.
Okay.
See, J. Scott Campbell, he posted a whole bunch of his comics, his variants on his website. They're all like 9.9s.
Yeah, I know. I was showing TJ and I were talking about that, and like he wants like $500-$600 for them. Which they're 9.9s, but if they're that readily available, are they worth that much?
Sell them in bulk on your website.
Yeah. I got this book from a mystery box. It's an awesome Kirby book that I have little to no association with, but it's an awesome Kirby book. So
get rid of it.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, there is no why. It's just, I mean, granted, it was a mystery box, so you didn't have a lot of choice in that. But like, if you could sell it, why not?
I'll send you pictures, DS. It's got like some stuff at the bottom that's troubling.
Speaking of mystery box stuff, like I love The Boy Who Had Comics, The Boy Who Has 7, and I got this in his mystery box.
But you're not a Marvel guy or an Avengers guy or
a Black Panther guy, and it just sits here, and I'm thinking like, should I have this graded? Should I sell it? But then there's always that kind of like that TJ feel, you know? You don't like, I don't want to hurt Matt's feeling by selling his comic, but Matt knows like this comic does nothing for my collection other than add yellow.
Yeah, yellow's great. I love yellow covers.
It's a beautiful cover, but
yeah, sorry, DS, not near mint. Someone says you want a Log Boy cover, but oh boy for Commandi or something. Yeah, listen, like I understand this is awesome, but it doesn't have like that association for me. Like I have it, I kept it because I'm like, oh sweet, an awesome Kirby book from his DC years, but like it's more for like historical significance than like any sort of personal association. Like I'd rather, I don't know. She gone.
That's it, man. It's as easy as that. I feel like I've completely detached from a lot of my comic book collection. Where like I have zero. People could tell me like, "Don't sell that," and I'd be like, "Nope. It's your collection. We're gonna collect what we want, what makes us happy." Black Panther doesn't do it for me, you know. Like that book doesn't do anything for you. It's an extra slot that for in one of your short boxes that could go to something else.
You know, it's funny you should put that up there because I think you are kind of keeping that book for the same reason I'm keeping this book that I'm about to show, out of like I don't know, I guess a sense of propriety, but like I don't know why I feel that way about this one. I bought this book from the Great Legends charity auction a while back, and I threw a bid up, and like I thought it was a fair bid, but I didn't know that I'd necessarily win for it. But you know, it was for charity, so I'm like, I'll just bid for this book, and you know, a really cool member of the community donated it, and now like I kind of feel like badly for thinking about selling it because like he generously donated it and I bought it, and does that mean that like I have an obligation to keep it? I don't know.
I don't think so. And then someone else mentioned, "Ooh, that's a nice book."
Yeah, it's a cool book, and it's gold label 9.8 signed by Amanda Connor. John, you got your boob windows, which you like so much. It is a cool book, but
even Big Snake says you bought it, you weren't gifted it. Do as you please. This is something that you paid for, and I think that changes everything about it.
Yeah, I know, but like similarly to that Black Panther book from The Boy Who Had Seven, because like these are our pals, these are our like the people we talk to all the time. It feels a little different than buying it from some stranger on eBay. And it feels even weirder this being from a charity auction, whereas like someone generously donated this and now I'm gonna like sell it. I don't know. So maybe I should just gift it to someone.
I don't know, man. You paid for it.
I did pay for it. So now I'm gonna. I don't know. Should I have two more things to show. I have the things that are probably gonna make people get all upset, and the things that I'm actually like really, really on the fence for. Charity got the money. Yes, absolutely. I mean, as far as I know, I don't have any proof, but I trust the great legend.
TJ says, I've gone through a whole box of donuts, a pack of cigarettes, and half a bottle of whiskey during this show. Please put the cigarettes down. They're not good for comics.
Yeah, or yourself.
Nah, more about the comics.
All right, let's just show these.
Yeah, put them up. They gone. What's that, first grade?
This is an 8.0. This is a 9.4.
Why did you even send an 8.0 of that in?
I didn't know it was going to be an 8.0. I thought it was going to be higher than that.
But on the bright side, that I mean, those have gone up.
I also like didn't pay a lot for these. I think I paid like less than $100 for the both of them.
Yeah, well, then put them on Instagram, man. I mean, Spider-Man fans everywhere they'll buy that up.
Like, and like I like this cover way more than I like this cover. But this is the lower grade. So like I'm more apt to sell this because I don't know. Yeah. Now we're talking. Black Suit is dope. But
even a newsstand in 8.8 or 8.0 is not as valuable as we think, though. I mean, but they have really gone up. Actually, when I first started getting into collecting, I thought like that 252 was really going to explode with the whole Venom movie. And they're definitely a lot more valuable than they were. But if you like that, like for me, for the books that I think I'm going to keep that aren't like Adam Hughes or Art Germ or something, it has to be a cover that I absolutely love. And I don't think I'm going to get the value out of selling it. So if you don't think you're going to get any value out of that 8.0, I would keep that and sell that 9.4. Yeah, that's the consensus here.
TJ says even gay people can appreciate good boob art. Just saying, just like straight people can appreciate good dick art.
What?
You know, man. This is my channel. I'll say what I want.
Oh, the
Batwang, Rifleman. And DS says these are readily available. Like if I decide I regret selling them, I can buy them again. Sure. And
ooh, that's a good. I mean, if you really wanted at ASM 52,
this one is definitely going before this one.
Yeah,
but I feel like I could sell them together.
You could.
Yeah, sell them both. Yeah. Dick art. Alec beat me to that joke by seconds. Hardest right turn in comics right there. I'm glad I keep everyone on their toes, except for John, who knows me too well. All right. So the last things that like I'm super on the fence for, and I'm only going to show because I don't want to pick up the whole stacks, are my runs of Danger Girl and Battle Chasers. Because on the one hand, like I was really Man, people are trying to wheel and deal in the chat. TJ says, never mind, they're both CBCS, get rid of them. When these came out, I was like super passionate.
Check it. Look, I will trade you a 252 9.6 for both of those plus $20.
Am I giving you $20 or are you giving me $20? And also, I know how good you are flipping, so I feel like that's not a great deal.
Easy way to get rid of them.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, do I want to trade these for a higher grade, or do I want to? So, you know, my goal is a bone number 1 right now. That's my number 1 grail. And so do I start like selling stuff like this? I do like Campbell. I love Campbell. And I have a second copy of Danger Girl number 1 that I can keep. But like I can sell the run and buy a trade. And I would look at that trade more often than I would look at the single issues.
Yeah.
So like that's the other thing I struggle with is like I never, once I read a book and put it in a sleeve, the only time I take it out is to rebag it if the bag's getting gross.
So you have put your goal out there. Goal is a bone number 1, right?
AKA the Rifleman. Heyo.
I think you should sell them, man. Get the trade, get them digitally. Like, if you think you can get something out of those to put towards the Rifleman, to put towards Bone, do it. Like, you're never going to open them again.
Yeah. And I mean, to DS's point earlier, like, I feel like, you know, it's easier to spend $20 on a book or $20 on a few books over the course of time to like buy these again than it is to spend $1,200 on a bone number 1.
Yeah.
All one shot. The thing is though, like how often do you see these in shops?
I mean, you don't, but hell, half the books that I look for, I don't find them in shops. I got to get them on eBay or My Comic Shop or or Comic Connect or Instagram.
DS, that AOK you sent me was the first AOK I ever received. That is not going anywhere. But I appreciate it. Yeah, but
you're trying to justify it right now. You're trying to convince yourself that you need to keep those because you might not find them again.
And I still do like them. That's the problem. Like some of these books, like I don't have an attachment to. Those I do.
Well, then keep them.
But why?
Because you like them. That's the whole point of the collecting, man. Like,
yeah, I know, but
you like them.
It's a struggle, man. Struggle is real.
Yeah.
I love comics. I love collecting them.
I love collecting them too. I think I've lost control and I've lost sight of my main priorities with collecting. Like I'm gonna delete the Key Collector app. Like I'm tired of people messaging me and being like, "Hey, did you see the spec on this? Like, you should go check your LCS." Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to stick to a goal and attain it.
So, a shop I go to regularly, I'm pretty good pals with the shop owner. Was telling me a story the other day when I was there about this kid who came in. He'd never seen him before, so he knew he like was not a regular customer. And he's browsing through the books, and there was some I forget what it was, but it was some really like hot book at the time. It was like a $30 book.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Oh, you know, do you ever do like sales for like $1 for your like older new releases?" Because a lot of shops do that. And he's like, "Oh no, we'll have sales, but like we don't do anything like that." So he's like, "Oh, all right, well I guess I'll take these two." And he brings like 2 copies of whatever this book was up to the counter. And the shop owner's like, I know what this book is. Like, I know I could be selling this for $25 on my wall right now, and you're trying to like buy it for me from for $1. Like, what a dick move. You like basically called the guy out on it, and like that's what feels dirty about specking to me. Like, number one, I will never clean a shop out. Like,
no,
I'll buy a copy of a book.
Yeah.
But like, why are you trying to like screw an LCS over too?
Yeah.
Like, I've done the exact opposite. Like, in shops where I know the owner, I'll find a book in their back issues bin, and I'm like, I don't want this book. And I'll bring it up, and I'll be like, oh, hey, you might want to put this on your wall. It's going for $20 right now. And yes, Murph, the Star Wars books arrived. Great. I appreciate it. Although now I'm trying to fill in the rest of the run. I bought like 50 issues of Star Wars action figure variants off of Murph for an incredible deal. And a buddy of mine's been looking for that Boba Fett cover forever. So he psyched out his mind that I'm going to hook him up with that. So thanks very much, buddy. Fellow Massachusettsan. Fighting Massachusettsans.
Boo.
Boo. Boo you. Boo Colorado. You're landlocked. What do you know?
Ooh, did you hear UMass and Colorado kind of have like a
rivalry or a conjunction? Connection.
Started playing for the Avalanche was from UMass. He's the reason why you guys went to the Frozen Four.
Oh, what do you know?
You're welcome. And then you gave him to us. So
I don't really know how that works, but
Whoopty Bird is messaging me telling me that I should show one more book that is on my final goodbye. It'd be big. It'd be a big tell.
Yeah. Right. So this whole thing is kind of like a bit of a tease for Matt's reveal later in the week, where he shows something that he picked up.
Do it. I don't know. Should I show it? Keep it a secret, because then people are going to immediately know what I got. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. People will immediately know what you got.
Something big is coming. It's on its way. I have a tracking number. And it literally feels like closure. Like, every time I bought a book, I've always been like, I could get a better one. I could get a better one. And then now it's just...
Yeah, it should be on your channel. And like when you have it.
Okay. Saved.
But it's going to be cool. We should probably wrap this up, huh? We're giving people enough anxiety.
It's been fun, though. I hope that you have kind of... I don't know. I feel like you're still really on the edge about this, but I think we've come to a conclusion about, or at least an idea of where we want to go with our collection. What? Stay away from the spec. You can absolutely just dive right in, but you're going to lose more than you win with spec. Flipping towards bone number one, flipping towards rifleman, whatever you want, like that should be your goal, if anything. And
I agree. And like, honestly, yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to stop buying books. I'm never going to stop collecting. And like, a part of me is like, why do I have this desire to thin my collection when I just want more books?
Yeah.
But
I just want to be able to read books. Like, I mean, I've always been able to read books, but I want that to be my focus again. I want to explore books. And I'm going to buy them digitally. I'm not going to buy...
Well, now you're breaking my heart.
Well, it depends. Like for example, Die. I really enjoyed Die, so I bought Die. I really enjoyed Middle West. I buy Middle West. But I'm not going to buy... welcome. But I'm not going to buy first issues of everything and then read them, and then it comes back to the whole, like, now I have a long box full of first issues.
It's funny that you should people are making fun of me saying that like every book I want is related to wieners. I want a bone number one, and I want rifleman. Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's a crazy journey, man. This comic collecting stuff.
Yeah, and I love it. And like I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna stop. But I just don't want like I want to cut the fat from the what's the phrase? I don't know.
Cut that back.
Yeah, that's the one. No,
I don't know the phrases, but
the wheat from the chaff. No, that's not right. You know what I'm saying. But like I also don't think like I don't want to like turn the wheel too hard and say like I'm only gonna read books now. I don't care about collecting because I don't think. Thank you, misexplained. Cut the wood off the rifleman.
Barrett says I'll buy all first at cover price from anyone who doesn't want them. I know a lot of people that got full boxes of X-Force ones.
Yeah, man, I got some X-Force ones. You want
them? For cover price.
I got that Deadpool card, True First. It's not depressing, John. It is a discussion about the hobby that we love and just kind of realigning, because I feel like it's like a subway car. It's like spend a speed where you're just like charging towards something, but you don't really like have the control you want, and you just need to like slow it down every once in a while and just re-examine things. And maybe Matt is like hit the brakes a lot harder than I have, but I just like I feel like I'm just like running downhill without any control right now, and I just want to kind of steady the ship. I'm using a lot of different vehicle and movement references.
I think this is a very similar conversation, John, that I had in my 3-hour-long video. I mean, the difference is at that time it was prioritizing your comic collecting and your family. You know, like it's choosing what your priorities are in your life. And I think the same goes for your general comic collecting. You know, you need to prioritize. You can't just grab everything you possibly can and just hope that things hit. You have to have a focus. You have to have a goal. And, you know, I mean, like whether it's a short-term goal, like your long-term goal, you know, it's someone who's a Superman fan could be like, I want an Action Comics #1. How are you going to break up that goal in your comic collecting life into shorter ones to eventually attain it? You know, I mean, you see people on Instagram that have Action Comics #1. I mean, some of them probably don't have all the money in the world. They did it very specifically by attaining smaller goals and then reaching their final, you know, the culmination of their comic collecting. And I think that should be like, that's a priority for me, I think, is making small goals, turning into a big goal and staying focused. It can't just be like, you know, squirrel. Like you have to remind yourself to stay on track with what you want in your comic collecting that will make you happy. Instead of just buying books based off of other people's, you know, like, oh, I've seen that comic on Instagram, I'm going to buy that. I've seen this comic on Instagram, I think that's important, I'm going to buy that. That takes you away from the bigger picture of your own comic collecting.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm collecting the right books for the right reasons, I guess, is my point.
Yes.
Before we leave, can I just say one thing that I don't understand YouTube sometimes? Because this chat that we've had, which I've enjoyed, by the way, has clearly pissed some people off. But I have no downvotes on this video. I did a charity auction and got 6 downvotes. It's weird, man. People are weird. I'm sure they were mostly trolls, but I mean, so in before someone downvotes this.
There are 30 people in the chat that are watching, so thank you guys all so much.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around and like listening to us, even though we're making you have heart palpitations.
Don't forget to thumbs up YWO Comics, subscribe to him. He's 2 away from 800. This big,
yeah, man. I just had my
2 subs away.
I'm gonna be monetizing in no time, and then watch out, charity, here I come.
That's right.
I mean, if you didn't enjoy this chat, please downvote. If you enjoyed it, please upvote, even if it is something that, you know, gave you some anxiety.
Yeah. I think for comic collecting, what works for some people doesn't work for others, and everybody's got different priorities. So don't take my obviously negative opinion right now. It's not negative, but my very specific opinion, and think that I'm trying to push that on people. Collect what you like. In the end, it's always collect what you like, collect what you love, read what you like, read what you love, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, and you know, like, we're all very different people. We all love the same hobby, but like a lot of us do it for different reasons, and like a lot of us do it for you know, different goals. You know, like DS is strictly a pre-code horror guy, basically, and that's awesome. Like, pre-code horror is fascinating to me, but like I don't have the passion for it that he does. So I would like 1 or 2 really cool pre-code horror books to have for my collection, but it's not going to be my focus. You know, but that doesn't mean that I don't know where I was going with that. Just like, if you want to only buy Green Lantern books, like, who cares? Sell me your Rifleman, and you can buy a Green Lantern book.
It's easy, man. That's all you do.
Everything you want to plug? I know probably not, but I'm gonna let you go for it anyway.
Tomorrow night I'm actually gonna be on Tony Sanders' channel for What's Your Grail. I have no idea
very cool.
what it's at, but that's happening.
I have no idea what time it's at. You should probably find out if you're gonna be on it.
Yeah. So that's tomorrow. And then
TJ has a very important question.
What does it means? Get the F out.
You can curse on my channel.
Get the fuck out.
Thank you. Don't.
Ooh, that was from Whoopty Bird saying that Rob Liefeld draws the best feet.
I mean,
I've lost so much respect for Rob Liefeld this week. I never really appreciated his artwork ever, but him like straight trashing the people that have paid for his mansion and everything. I don't know if he has a mansion, but
he's probably doing all right.
Yeah, like, screw that guy.
So
that's not okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole Rob Liefeld thing, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
So tune in for that. I got book club tomorrow night with Bear Island Comics on John's channel. We're going to be reading Meet Scrolls 1, 2, and 3, which is a cool series that doesn't have any spec or hype, but is good. So go read it and buy it. And join us tomorrow night for that discussion.
Did I say tomorrow for What's Your Grail?
Yeah, it's on Thursday.
Yeah, it's on Thursday. Sorry. And then I should be getting. I might be unboxing it on Tony's channel. I don't know. Might be on Tony's channel, or if I don't get it by Thursday, I'll probably unbox it on Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, or if I ever remember to. So
I'm excited.
Big unboxing coming for me, and that's all I really got. Oh, and eventually Nerd Alert. I'm just gonna keep pushing Nerd Alert, and at some point people are gonna be like, "Wow, you've been saying you're gonna do Nerd Alert, Lord of the Rings for a while," and John's just gonna get mad at me.
Yeah, I don't have anything else scheduled. This last week was like a super busy YouTube week for me. So I think after tomorrow, I'll probably take a couple days off to R&R. I got to get everyone's charity winnings out. I'm going to try to get most of them out tomorrow. Thank you for your patience. You know, it's just like a lot to box and ship and everything. But don't sweat. I am getting them out to you, and trying to make sure they're packed as safely and as possible, since paid good money to charity. That's all I got, I guess. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your nights. Love comic books. Love each other. I'm just going to add all sorts of new taglines to my show. No specs, no masters. Never turn your back to the ocean. Bye.